whatever sauce. You can do just like a garlic and butter based sauce. You can do kind of like a tonkatsu sauce. You can do a teriyaki sauce. You can pretty much flavor these vegetables however you like. Just so that they get some flavor. You can leave it plain, but here's my soy sauce.
You're just eyeballing it?
Yeah, I'm adding some parsley.
Nice.
Black pepper or white pepper, sorry. Sriracha.
Worcester sauce.
And a tiny bit of rice vinegar.
Ding, ding, ding.
Just toss in bok choy. And just kind of stir it. And you're basically going to cook down the sauce so that it coats onto the bok choy, but doesn't like overcook it.
He's better than others?
Yes. So basically it's the same thing of what you would say, you know, as a general rule. Like if you don't want to keep anything that freezes for more than 2 or 3 months, it probably won't bento very well. The gyudon, if you don't put the mushrooms in it, freezes very, very well. The mushrooms tend to be a little mushy at the end of freezing it. But if you're only going to be putting it in the fridge or freezing it for a couple days, maybe a week, most things bento and freeze very well. Milk products don't tend to freeze very well. So if you can avoid cheese or anything like that, that will tend to cook. And I just turn the heat off while the last half a second finishes cooking.
What you doing?
It's a secret still, right?
All right. Which is something. It's sketchy.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting for the pan to heat. I think it's...
So, see how it's kind of tinged with the soy sauce? That's about what you're looking for. You're looking for about a cooked spinach consistency. And then just add this in here.
Oops.
And I spill as usual.
Hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Whatever. I'm used to burning my fingers.
Yeah, we're flexible. I like it.
Clean up our messes as we go. And then
And what's that?
This is a green onion. So I just like to peel a little bit of the kind of more hard edges. It's kind of more of a elasticy. And I like the green.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, I don't know.
There we go. Just kind of break it up. I didn't chop it very well. And then throw a little bit of this green onion on top of the gyudon. Make sure it's all in the bucket. I'm bad at this. And here is bento number 2.
Sick.
There you go. 2 separate meals, intermixable. You can mix and match as you like. You can do whatever you want to do. Like my favorite ones to do are the gyudon. I like the croquets. I like to do like little sandwiches, like little slider sandwiches. You can do katsu curry is another really good one. There's like just so many different varieties. So usually I'll throw like a hard-boiled egg with the croquette, but I just didn't have time to do it today. So it's like I'll take a day of the week, sometimes 2, and I'll prep these meals like way ahead of time. So that like if I don't want to cook at school because lots of work, stuff like that. So there's 2 separate ones. Oh, we did it.
Ya está. You're done. You're done. Okay, we got udon. We got veggies.
Udon done. You done.
Oh my god.
So one way to test if the oil is hot enough is to like drop a little crumb of panko. And if it starts bubbling, then the oil should be good. Right now, it's not ready yet. It's gonna turn up the heat a little bit.
To how high?
Wait for that.
It's cool though.
I guess you can show this part. So I'm just coloring some rice for our bento. The direction I'm going for my bento is more like a cutesy, kawaii, type
Kawaii.
So I'm incorporating, unnatural colors here and there and making shapes with the rice.
Very neat.
How much time do we have, by the way?
I don't know.
Yeah. Nice and thick.
Heavy, wait, nice and what?
Thick. It's very thick.
Yeah, I like it thick too. Some people like it thinner. That's amazing. I don't give a thick boy. Thick boy. I like it thick too. Seems like it's really good. Nice.
It's gonna be way.
Okay. Any questions for either of them? You're eating something. I'm gonna be eating soon.
Thank you for coming here. I said I was gonna get really hungry for cookies.
Um, Essentially what you want to do is you want to have the heat high enough that the egg will cook quickly. Don't put in too much egg because what will happen is it will cook fast enough and you really want to roll it pretty well. My suggestion is just play around with it. Keep practicing because like nobody's perfect on the first try. And it's like don't get too mad at yourself like I do. I do it regardless of if I tell myself not to. Where if it just doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It still tastes good. And it doesn't have to look perfect.
Try your best.
Yeah. There's also lots of really good resources on YouTube of people showing how they do their techniques and how they work out. Some of my favorite YouTubers are actually there's a couple different housewives that show how they do different bentos and whatnot. And I learned a lot just from watching them do it and then playing around and practicing. Like, again, it doesn't have to be pretty, it will still taste good.
As long as you try your best,
Just
make it taste
good.
good. Okay, you can look at me then. I don't think they want to look at me. Anyway.
Too much color to this. I might do it. Or add more rice.
I didn't cover it.
Let me check on the oil again. So I'm gonna do a little crumb test again.
What do you do?
And it should be good now.
All right, it's sizzling. Is that what's happening?
So I'm gonna take my cutlet, make sure there are no loose crumbs around. I'm gonna shake it a bit, and then gently drop it in there. Okay, fine. I'm gonna do the same for the second one. Let's shake it off. And then slowly drop it in.
And how long should this cook for, you think? How long can it take?
I would say it'll start browning in 5 minutes, but you want to make sure if you have a meat thermometer to check if it's the right temperature. But since it's a thin slice, it should evenly cook at a it should evenly cook in. Sorry, very slow. 3 to 5 minutes.
So almost done.
Right. You really just want the brown.
So on.
No more than what? 10, not 10, like 6 or 7 minutes. You just need to plate it up. Sorry, it's a small one. You're gonna have to fry your chicken after it's done.
So while that's getting cooked, I'm gonna start shaping the rice.
Okay.
Gonna use a little bit of plastic. Is there lighting? Enough lighting for that? Oh, I'll just go here actually.
Another thing you can use to separate.
That's a surprise, Chris. That's a surprise, Chrissy. Tiny panda? That's cool. What you doing there?
So I'm just getting some plastic wrap so I don't get, since it's food colored,
Nice.
it'll get like hand stained. So let's use this.
Huh?
The video went down.
Oops. Okay. What's that? Oh, sorry about that. Something happened. But
So I got my
Yes, it
rice
does.
here, and we're gonna shape this into a ball. So I like to just use my hands and push it around. Gets this a nice ball shape.
Okay.
So it's not gonna be an actual well. I'm actually gonna make a beak with the ball. I think by now you should guess what the character is based on the color and everything.
Let's see if you guys can guess in the chat what he's making.
It's the first part.
TV purple. What could that be? An eggplant.
An eggplant, yep. Could be an eggplant.
Real weird. No, using food coloring.
I'm
Right?
using, yeah,
Just
standard
regular
food
food
coloring.
coloring. Barney bento? No, but maybe. Nope.
Well, that's good. Looks like our chicken is browning, so we're gonna give it a quick look underneath.
Blah.
Maybe 1 more minute. 1 or 2 minutes.
Mr. Krabs be like,
It's overnight. Yeah. You can make purple rice with Natsuki beans. What's a Natsuki bean? Natsuki bean. That's it sounds freaky, but that's cool. I think I've heard of it. Probably not your beans. Probably just a purple bean. That's a drive. Oh, that's a dislike. Okay, one more minute. I like broccoli flakes. What do you guys like? So, what's your favorite cereal? I like Crave. Crave? Is that the chocolate one? Yeah, it's the chocolate. Sick. What do you think about frosted flakes? I don't. I don't. Kind of like the box right now. I like cinnamon toast crunch. Yeah, they're pretty good. So we're still just waiting for it. Papa Jerris. Thank you, Ariel. Big boy? Yeah, big boy. Big boy. Big boy. Now we're not even talking games. So, in that sense, it's going to take less than the original system. Maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And you probably open the water boil. Yeah. Thank you.
Whatever. So
Any questions for Harrison or Ray?
they've
Or
always.
Val, too, if you're gonna
Oh, you
shoot
want to
that.
ask me questions? Yeah, you can ask me questions too.
No, sorry, Cameron. No, no, no.
That's me. How does it smell? Smells like heaven.
Smells really good.
Try it right now, though. It's gonna smell like heaven soon with the curry, man.
Yeah. The gyudon smells really good too. I can't wait to eat this. If I get to eat it.
Kind of slowly right now.
That must do so. Can I come and make you strawberry daifuku when I have my kitchen set up? What's a strawberry daifuku, Ariel?
It's like kind of like a mochi, but not really.
I like mochi.
So it's a rice-based cake, and it's usually filled with red bean and a fruit like strawberry.
Sounds good. Yeah. Can do. That sounds really good. I like mochi ice cream.
Yeah, it's really good. I think so.
Would you like to film that for WebCon? Ooh. That's okay. I'd watch it. You know, this is like the closest thing of you being like a Twitch streamer right now.
That's a what?
A Twitch streamer.
Yeah, I gotta practice like speaking like this. But it's a good way to practice.
Wait, can you not hear us?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello. They're saying that I'm like,
Too quiet?
okay. Maybe I was covering the mic. Silly me. Or maybe because it was in portrait mode, so the mic is so different.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't know. Look at you working so hard. Everyone else is just slacking.
We have like 10 minutes left. I should finish that.
Yeah, it should be perfect timing. All right, because Felix hates me, I'm gonna show him last. They want to say hi to you guys.
Oh, hey.
That's the mod. That's the other chef. I'm gonna show you anyway. That's my president. That's me. Espondo, what are you doing?
Just making some adjustments. I realized something from the shoot.
How's the curry? The curry seems thicky, very thicky. It's like peanut butter almost. Nah. Peanut butter's way bigger, but it looks like peanut butter. All right. Do you think the katsu is finished?
Let's see.
Yeah. He used the curry blocks. I think he used Vermont curry. He used about half the thingy. Vermont curry. Mild though. Mild.
It's on 6 and 8, so.
Looks good. Show that on the side too. Yeah.
Right there.
Looks good.
I get my plate toweled up.
And what's the paper towels for?
Just make sure it doesn't, so the oil doesn't get everywhere.
Yeah, just soak it up.
Dry
I
it up a
assume.
bit. It's better to get a wire rack for this episode. Sometimes it could get soggy on the bottom.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, just making sure that it's nice and dry.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
A little bit of the breading came off.
What do you guys think? It looks good so far? Looks pretty good. I dare you to take a shot of that.
A shot of oil,
Hot oil. Hot oil. Hot. Hey, that was a stupid question.
I'll do it for money.
All right, I'll do it. $3.
$3 back.
all right. Do it for the views, baby.
That's the trash chute. Alright, so I'm gonna place my headphones here so I can put them up. I'm gonna use this one for a regular plate, and this one's gonna be for the pencil later on.
All right. You got 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes.
Guys.
All right. You can do this. You can do this.
So for this, I'm just gonna
Chop.
regular chop slice.
Is there a tip you want to do when you're chopping?
Just a rock the motion, making sure the knife doesn't really leave. Oh, you can do it however you want. If you want, you can like do
You can hear the
straight down chops, or you can
hear the
do
crunch,
rocky
the
motions.
crisp. Looks pretty good.
So I'm gonna get one for here, sort of safe.
Okay, she says we can run over a little bit, so you don't have to take it. You don't have to like rush. Octopus.
I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. So we got our rice.
Scoop. Care Bear
Got a
bento.
big plate for
Big boy.
my intentions.
Big boy. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I think the plate's a bit too big.
Yeah, but I think the main part's bento. So we're chilling. This isn't gonna look as cute since it's a fat plate, but we're gonna put the bento up for you, and it's gonna look really cute. So this is gonna be like meh.
Yeah.
So
This is our rice. Got a nice portion here.
yeah, facts. Just trying to encourage a little magnificent. Explode. It would look really good with a small bowl, a smaller plate. Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
And then with the cuts, I like to just get in with the knife. Oh, you can hold.
I'll hold.
I like to go under with the knife. So and just
Right under,
right
and then
there.
right over.
Right
All right,
over.
you guys feel the shape, but there
There
you go.
That's your,
You
that's your curry.
That's your curry rice bowl plate. But now the bento, the cute part, it's gonna happen. Who wants this? All right, Mimi, shipping it over now.
And then we're gonna put everything together so that you can kind of see all this. I'm just gonna take these out.
I think you can tell by now what it is.
Yeah, you better know what this is. You guys,
I'm gonna give it more details later, but that's the base part.
you guys know what this is? Comment below if you know what this is.
Comment below.
Just smash that like button.
Or
No, it's not. It's an animal.
that's on the, are you gonna put more chicken? I'm just looking it up so that I'm not.
Thinking emoji. Nope, it's a purple duck's close, but not it. Not it. Oh, ding 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 ding! Ding ding, you got it. The platypus, Libby.
Feet seeds.
One pieces.
Feet seeds.
Yo, he got
One.
big feet. He got,
You do have
got
big feet.
fat, big feet, yo. You guys see it? You guys see? All right, so it's there. It's there. It's there. You guys see it? Oh, actually, it kind of looks. They kind of look alike. What should we name it? We'll name him Jerison. Jerry's son. Jerry's son.
Oh, by the way, for the feet, I just pushing in the knife to make indentations. It's that you have like those spread out. It's not literally noticeable on camera, but here, you can see it better.
Yeah, you can have him over for dinner.
Yeah. All right. I gotta cut out.
What do you look for?
Nori.
Nori?
Mhm.
I have some right here.
And so this nori, it's basically dried seaweed, and I'm gonna make some of the details with this.
Nice.
Put that right there. If you have like, you can use like a hole puncher if you have one for eyes, but I'm gonna use the parting to cut out circles. It's very intricate.
Pow, 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 pow. Oh, he has a knife. Yo. Webby. Webby is so cute. Yeah, like a hole puncher. But like,
That would have been great in this case. Shouldn't cut him out early, but
let's see.
oh, he has a little, like long. What are they called on the eye? They're like long hair.
Long hair?
The
Eyelashes.
He's a girl. It's a girl actually. It's a girl with.
So Jerry's daughter.
Jerry's daughter.
Not Jerry's son. Webby Winky. Webby Winky.
Webby Winky.
I like it.
It's the other eye.
It's like surgery. All right, he's a little freaky with those eyes. Yeah.
Maybe I'll make it.
Freaky.
I'll try to make a bow tie somehow.
Oh no, he's freaky. Never mind. He's freaky from this angle. Stealing food.
No.
Perhaps. You don't have to. I think as long as we finish the bow tie, I'm just gonna have a regular tie because making a bow tie is a regular tie. It's our OC Webby. No, 95 Webby. So from here, slowly putting our curry base around them. The mud bath. You see that? What a death. You're like swimming in hot curry. Would love to be there right now. Actually, that'd be awesome. Oh yeah. Curry. Oh yo, Webby's really just chilling, huh? Suggest this one. It's okay. I'm gonna use something to smooth it out. Need it out of it. Here, keep going. Let's clean it up. Alright, garnish piece. Looking kind of cute right now. Paladon. Paladon, you said? I've never tried that one. But and if you ever had golden curry, I think it has less of the like cinnamon type flavor to it. Less spice. Less spice. For sure. It actually has like apple juice and honey, I believe. Honeydew apple. Honeydew apple. And not the final product? You know what? That is the final. Yeah, that's the final product. All right. Yeah. The feet is so basic because it's heavy. It's cute. All right, I'll put it over there. We're basically done. And this is everything we cooked for today. This is made by Brie over here, and Jersey made stuff over here. So thanks you guys for showing me everybody how to make your delicious second food. So tell them your name and say goodbye, basically. Brie again.
Dao, you're covering the mic again.
Oh, so nice to have everyone here. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, guys. I mean, I don't know if they heard it, but apparently I was covering the mic, but.
Dao, you're covering the mic again.
No, I'm not. That's cap.
Okay. Thank you so much to Jerison and Bree. I hope you guys enjoyed that event. The food looks delicious. You guys did a great job. I think the audience really enjoyed your uh, your take on bentos. They were really creative and looks really delicious. Next up, uh, and thank you so much to Dao as well for being our cameraman. Dao, you can't see him right now. Oh God, he's haunting me. Um, but next up, we have our origami workshop. Before we start that, I'm just going to introduce again for those of you who are just joining us now, uh, uh, the Japanese Language Club of UMass Boston. So again, we are a diverse group of language learners, cultural enthusiasts, and Japanese students as well. And our mission is to provide a space for students to share their interests in topics related to Japan, including the language and the culture and everything in between. And we do our best to learn together, share the culture together, collaborate together, and really just amplify Japanese culture, Japanese people as much as we can, as well as having fun. And we've done other events as well on our campus, such as Japanese Field Day and also Matsuri, which is like a Japanese festival as well. So now we're gonna transition to the origami workshop. And Mimi, if you're ready, take it away.
Hi guys, I'm Mimi. I'm currently a grad student at UMass Boston, and as an undergrad, I used to be an active part of Japanese Language Club. And one of the things that we would do is host different types of origami activities. So today I'll be showing a little bit, sharing a little bit of information about the history of origami and the different types of origami that exist. And then I plan on showing you guys a couple of models, one being this origami crane here, and also something a little more interesting than that, called modular origami. So first, let me share presentations. Share origami workshop. There we go. Is that all right? Is it working? Felix, can you tell me if it's working?
It looks good to me.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
you can see it.
All right, so origami or origami, if you want to pronounce it like an American, like I grew up doing. So, origami, it is made, so this origami word is made out of two kanji, ori, meaning folding, and kami, meaning paper, hence paper folding or the art of paper folding. And the exact origins of origami actually aren't precisely known, but at least in Japan, it started showing up after Buddhist monks carried paper to Japan, maybe from China during the 6th century. And over the course of time, origami has evolved, and so different branches of origami came up. Action origami, meaning origami that you can kind of move around or use for different things. Modular origami, which is origami using modules or different pieces of paper. Wet folding, which is making the paper wet. Pure land origami, which is something that came up, origami that uses no glue or no cutting, just one piece of paper and that's it. Tessellations, which is like over here, kind of more mathematically based. And kirigami, which is similar to origami, but kiri, to cut, it's paper, the art of paper cutting. So origami, it's a lot about art, as you can see here, but there's a lot of mathematics involved actually. And there are some notable individuals who use mathematics to design origami models. So one famous example is the Miura fold, which was made by a Japanese astrophysicist, Koryo Miura. And he used a crease pattern to fold solar satellites to figure out how to take a flat surface and fold it into a smaller area. So what these lines here, if you look more into it, these are actually folding instructions basically, where this is one type of fold and this is another type of fold. So there are a lot of pragmatic and as well as artistic uses to it. So there are a few notable origami artists. The grandmaster of origami, Akira Yoshizawa, he died in 2005 at age 94, and he is credited with kind of turning origami from like kind of a craft or something that craftsmen would do to something that's like a living art, meaning he really upped the ante for origami. And one of his biggest contributions is what I mentioned before, wet folding, which is making the paper wet, which allows you to make soft curves with the paper. And in 1989, he estimated he created more than 50,000 different models. That was just in 1989. He probably made much more by then. And he was so prolific that he joined the Order of the Rising Sun, 5th class, one of the highest honors bestowed for people who have had many merits in Japan by the emperor. And here's a picture of him with his signature wet folding style. So in these models, for example, this gorilla or this ape here, you can see all these very soft curves and everything. So he was very well known for making these animals. Another artist with a different style, Tomoko Fusei, born in Niigata Prefecture. She is most well known for her modular origami, which again is just using multiple pieces of paper to make one unit. And these units can be used to create different, which I'll show later also, different modules, different types of structures, mathematical polyhedrons that can be made using these different units. So these are all using 30 quote unquote different units to make one ball. And she's also known for making other different types of models too, flowers, boxes, etc. And the third one I wanted to show is Robert Lang. So he's an American physicist, and he's known for making very, very intricate designs, mostly insects, animals, but he has also touched on other more technical origami. So he found a way to use computer algorithms and origami theory to make models. So really using mathematics and using computer engineering to make designs. And of course, he also specialized in real world applications. So just like the satellite fold that I showed earlier, he's also made telescopes and airbags. And if you go to his website, you can see his portfolio, all his works. So those are just 3 notable people. There's many more. And so if you want to learn origami yourself, there are many different ways to learn at all different levels, whether you want to make more advanced models or whether you're just beginning. For me, I think in elementary school and middle school, high school, mostly I learned either from looking at diagrams at the library, like origami books at the library when we still went to libraries, and also YouTube videos. Actually, YouTube videos are very helpful because you can actually see them working through each step. And these are just some YouTubers, some popular YouTubers that I watched to make these models. So here is a picture of a diagram for origami raccoon. So you can see all these fancy arrows and all these different lines, dashed lines, solid lines, and turning over and all that. So, so basically with diagrams, there is a legend of different symbols that mean different things that are kind of a standard use for learning origami and reading diagrams. So although it's a little more confusing, actually a lot more confusing than just following a YouTube video, it becomes very helpful and it opens up a whole new world to learning. And of course, there are very simple diagrams and not ones that have a bunch of symbols like this. So that's my spiel about origami. And now I'm going to teach you guys how to fold. So when you're first starting with origami, there are a few tips that you want to follow. First of all, to make really pretty models and also to make life easier, using sharp, crisp folds is like the key, basically. And I just use my fingernail, but you can use like a ruler or something like that to make sure that your folds are nice and crisp and straight. So it really helps with the future steps because origami is a very cumulative thing. Obviously, you're going from step to step. So the better you do in the first steps, the easier it will be in the second steps. And so the second tip follows the same thing, sharp, crisp folds, and also making sure you're aligning the edges accurately as you're folding. Origami is also a very mathematical process. You also want to make sure that whatever you're using a certain shape, you're using a shape that's as regular as possible. So if you're starting with a square, you want to make sure that it's a square and not like a rectangle, basically. Another thing to do is to fold the paper away from you rather than towards you, meaning that if you want to fold a triangle, for example, fold it so that you're folding away rather than towards like this. It makes it easier to see what you're doing. And it's generally easier to work with larger pieces of paper at the beginning and not work with smaller pieces until you're confident. So I'm gonna exit full screen presentation here soon so I can show you guys certain websites that I use. But if you don't have a square piece of paper, you can just use a rectangle. You can just start with a rectangle and basically fold a triangle from corner to edge here, and then just cutting off the rectangle at the end here. So if you want to follow along with me today and you don't have a square piece of paper readily available, you can just find some printer paper or even notebook paper, and you could just do this and make a nice perfect square. So yeah. So we're almost gonna start, I'm almost gonna start showing how to make all these. Oh my God, am I muted? Hold on.
No, we can hear you. Don't worry.
Oh, I don't know. For some reason, it said I was muted for a second. I was like, oh no. Oh my god, that would have been awful. Okay,
You're good.
anyway, so when you're doing origami, there are very basic folds, some basic and some very complicated folds you can use. And the most basic ones are mountain folds and valley folds. So, hold on. All right, so mountain fold is just like this. So I'm gonna start taking out a piece of paper now. Mountain folds, usually, again, is folding a mountain like this. Valley folds, folding it like that. So it's very simple. All folds, almost all folds are gonna come from this very basic type of fold. And it's the distinguishment in the direction of these folds is actually very important as you're trying to fold more complex models. So knowing the basics first of origami folding is very important if you want to learn the more complicated ones. And this is also a fold called the inside reverse fold. It's basically using these two folds here and then making an indent so that you can make sort of the beak, kind of like a beak shape here. So the website that I use or that I found that was a really good resource is origami.me. And this website has a lot of, shows a list of all the different folds there are. So mountain valley folds, common origami folds. So there's a whole list here. So this inside reverse fold is basically fold this, like valley fold or mountain fold, however you want. Sometimes it doesn't really much matter what you call it, but sometimes the order matters. So again, folding, 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 and then indenting. So I'll show you guys how to do that when we're making the crane later. And then on top of that, there are origami bases. So with these folds, there are also bases that different models share. So these kind of act as like basically a base, right, for a different model. And so there's different bases. There's the water bomb base, which is made like this. There's a kite base, which is a very simple one like this. So the model that we're going to be using today is going to use the square or the preliminary base. And this is the base that we're going to use to make the crane. And don't worry, I'm going to walk through all these steps with you guys when we make the crane. And a really good website, the last thing to show before I get started is this website called Origami Club. So this website has a lot of different diagrams for very easy models. So this is a great place to get started. If you go to traditional here, you can see all these, and then you can just click what you want to see, and they will have diagrams available. So this is what we're going to be making today, the crane. So for the crane, this crane is probably one of the most famous origami model. You probably already seen it before somewhere in some media. It's one way that this crane is used is something called 1,000 cranes, senbazuru. And the origin of this 1,000 cranes, if you've heard of this kind of legend or this kind of story, is a story of Sadako Sasaki. She was a girl who was a victim or was one of the people who was caught in the Hiroshima bombing when the US dropped an atomic bomb in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And she developed leukemia from the radiation, and she decided, oh, if I make 1,000 cranes, I can make a wish and it'll come true. So I think she got to around 700 cranes before she unfortunately passed away. But her friends decided to finish the 1,000 cranes. And this story kind of resonated with a lot of people. So here at the Hiroshima Monument, you can see all these cranes here. So we're going to be making that crane now. So I'm going to be basically following these diagrams here. So I'm going to leave this diagram open, but you can follow me on my video as I'm folding. So I'm going to bring my camera down so you can see my paper here. So I guess I'll wait a couple minutes before we get started. I'm actually going to get some water real quick. So again, for people who do not have a square piece of paper, you can make one using a rectangle like this. So I'll give you guys a second as I go get water.
And while we wait for Mimi to come back, if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to type it into the chat and we can answer it as we move forward. Oh, and she'll be back in just a second.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, so if anyone, let me check the chat if anyone has any questions. Alrighty, so I'm gonna get started now. So for this crane, I'm gonna try and go slowly. If anyone gets stuck at a certain step, just like say something in the video and I can always repeat a step.
So how tiny can we start, Mimi?
Huh? Say that again?
How tiny can we start when starting with origami?
Whatever you're comfortable with, basically. So actually it's possible to use very super tiny pieces of paper, but for the most part, I think the standard origami paper is like 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters. So this is like the standard start that people usually go with.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood the question. Is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter okay for the workshop?
Yeah, 1 centimeter. Oh, that's super tiny. I mean, yeah, you could, but it's definitely possible. But as you can see, there's going to be a lot of folds involved. So if you're comfortable, then sure, you can go as tiny as you want. But if not, then I recommend going with a larger piece of paper, if possible. If not, you got to work with what you got. Okay, so do your best. If you're able to do it, I'll be very impressed. So anyway, so if you're using a double-sided color piece of paper, just a white piece of paper, this won't matter much. But for those who are using a single-sided color, so like this origami paper is blue on one side, I'm gonna start with the white side up. And this is Bobo, by the way. He's gonna be watching along and learning with you guys. So first, as you can see, fold in half. So this is very simple. This is just getting the simple mountain folds down, or in this case, a valley fold. So you're gonna fold from one corner here to the other corner, like this. And again, it's very important that you get these points and these edges lined up. So see here, if I do it like this, you have some white showing. You don't wanna do that. You wanna make sure all your corners and your edges are lined up as best as you can. I'm going to use my fingernail to make the fold sharp. Or again, like you could use a ruler and do it like this. Either way works. And so we're going to unfold that. And then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. This is actually different from the diagram. So what I do usually is unfold it and fold it the other way so that we have like an X. But in this case, you can also just fold it in half like this. So this is what we have from step one, is open edge, and then we're gonna fold it in half this way. So we're basically folding the triangle in half. you have, you know, these two flaps here. And so this next step, this is when the diagram can be a little tricky. Now you can see that you have this open end here. And you have this one flap that's open down here. So you're gonna stick your finger in, you're gonna open it up like this. And what you're gonna do is basically squash it. So what I'm gonna do is take this point and bring it down to this point here. And as I'm doing so, I'm gonna stretch out the paper. And fold it like this. So again, what I did is that along this flap here, I'm basically stretching it, I'm puffing it out, and I'm bringing it, this point, I'm gonna be flattening it down. Like this. And what you'll see here is that you'll start having these layers here and a close point up here. And I'm gonna fold it, flip it over, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this side now. So I'm gonna fold this just to make this a little easier. And again, I'm gonna I'm gonna open it. So one other way you can do this step, which is the step that the way I prefer actually, is usually to actually fold this way, flipping over, and then folding it this way, and then that way. And then what I usually do is just take these edges and I just squish them in like this. So that's another way to do it. I think it's a little more precise, but this way is the way that I see most commonly used to make this type of square or preliminary base. So the base that you're gonna have now, it's gonna be a square, obviously, and you're gonna have one point at the top that's gonna be all closed. This is gonna be where the center of the paper was. And at the other end, you're gonna have this open end with these flaps. And it's very important that you keep track of this versus this end, because if you get these ends switched around, then you won't be able to make the model. So while you're working, remember that you want to be folding away from you. So it's easiest to work with this if you have the open end, this open end here, facing towards you. Okay, so make sure that whenever you're working, you have these open parts at the bottom. And so now what you're gonna do, I'm gonna work at this as if this were from your view, is take one of these flaps, this open end here, and you're gonna take this and you're gonna fold it to the center. You can't really see it, but there should be like a center crease that you made earlier. And you can see in the diagram here, this is just one part. This part is doing all three folds at once, but we're just gonna do it one at a time. So I'm gonna fold this edge into the center. So it basically kind of looks like half a kite almost. And remember, this point here, this point has to be the open point here. Okay, and then you're gonna do that to the other side as well. So again, remember this open edge, you're gonna fold this side and you're gonna bring it to the center. Well, if I were working it from my point of view, this is how it looks. So again, this point facing towards you, then folding it like this. And then what you're gonna do is also, so you'll kind of have this triangle formed up here. You're gonna fold this down and you're gonna fold along this line here. And I kind of have like a diamond shape. And then once you do that, you're gonna unfold everything